Hey guys, Lonnie here, the Garage Geek Guy, starting a brand new beginner Arduino series. And I want to remind you that, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you're already subscribed, hit the notification bell if it's not already lit up. And that way you'll know when new content is coming out because I have a lot of brand new content scheduled to come out here in the coming months. Going to be pretty active, and I don't think you want to miss it. So, this is episode number 1 of the Beginning Arduino series, and a question I get a lot of times from friends that want to know what I'm doing on YouTube, and as far as hobbies go. And I tell them, well, I do stuff with the Arduino, and of course, it brings the question, what is Arduino? And it's a good question. It's not really that easy for me to answer. So, what is Arduino? Arduino is a framework of hardware and software that is used to build things. So, and there's also a large community involved. There's a lot that goes into it other than it's just a chip or it's just a board. It's everything else surrounding it because the hardware has always been there, but Arduino is the framework that makes that hardware accessible to everyone. That's the way I look at it. Arduino is very much like YouTube. YouTube made broadcasting available to every man, and Arduino has made electrical engineering or making electronics accessible to everyone. So that's what Arduino is. It's still not a real clear answer, but it's the best one I got. We're going to look at, in this video, we're going to look at a few boards, and then we're going to look at some projects because I think it's more important to beginners or to anybody. To me, it's not what is Arduino, but what does Arduino let you do? That's what the exciting part is for me. So, first, let's look at a few Arduinos. This is an Arduino Uno. Actually, it's not an Arduino Uno. This is a knockoff. So one of the interesting things about Arduino is that Arduino is open source. All of their hardware, they actually release, the schematics. They release the board files, everything you need to actually build the hardware yourself. And plenty of people are building the hardware themselves. And you could buy this stuff really cheap on places like eBay and Amazon and all these other stores on the internet. So you're not stuck just buying Arduino hardware. It helps them out if you do. So, if you have plenty money, go buy it there. If you can't, go buy it somewhere else. They make it available. So this is a knockoff of an Arduino Uno. It's pretty big. The chip itself right here is an Atmel Atmega 328 something. I can't remember all the nomenclature. But that's the actual heart. It's kind of backwards here. That's the actual heart of the Arduino where everything happens. Everything else on the board is just there to make the pins more accessible. These are headers that make the pins more accessible. And then there's hardware over here to make it to where you can power and program the actual chip. But everything happens right here. Okay. That's one example. Here's another example in a different package. This actually does the same thing, even though it's a lot smaller. This little chip right here is another it's pretty much the same chip, just in a smaller form. And the pinouts are here on the sides. Has pretty much the same function. And it's got USB input. This is a micro or a nano knockoff. I think it might be a micro, but it comes in a lot of different form factors. That's the hardware. That's really not the most important part, but let's take a look at actually what is Arduino. So I have the Arduino page pulled up here, and this is where this is the main page. This is where it all happened. Arduino.cc, and here's what is Arduino right here. Arduino is an open source electronics platform based on easy to use hardware and software. It's intended for anyone making interactive products. There you go, projects. There's a link to download the Arduino software right here. There's also, you could buy the actual official Arduino hardware, like, and they have so many different versions now, it's crazy. Like the one I just showed you, you could typically buy it. I have an eBay link coming. Uh, okay, look, here is an Arduino Uno Revision 3 SMD right here, $20.90. You can get them a lot cheaper than that if you buy the knockoffs, but they have a bunch of different versions. Not all of them are even the Atmega chip. Also, look, here's an Arduino Uno Rev 3, and this has the bigger dual inline pin or DIP package instead of that smaller version of the chip. But like I said, it pretty much does the same thing. They have all kind of different boards. Some of them have Wi-Fi capabilities. Just go take a look. We're going to be dealing with the Uno type boards for starters. I think it's a good place to start just because it's easy to use. Like, look, here's a Nano here. So, and you can see the prices there. Now here is, I don't know anything about this seller, but here is a Arduino Uno clone. And you notice they use the word Uno and then they use the word Arduino. So it's kind of keyword spamming. And I know they have a lot of problems with that. But look, you can get this board for $3.59, free shipping from China. So it's like, what, order of magnitude cheaper than the official board. And, you know, I can understand. I bought quite a few knockoffs myself. So here is a micro. This is similar to the other one I showed you. And look, you can buy 3 of them for $10.95, free shipping from USA. And you see these guys have the little header pins that aren't even attached to the board. So when you get them, the first thing you have to do is solder those pins to the board to even use it. So you have to have a solder iron and solder, something to think about. But I mean, that's the thing, the democratization of this hardware, the knowledge. Let me go back to that Arduino page. The knowledge and the hardware. The hardware is so cheap now, anybody can afford it. The knowledge is freely available because not only do you have the software here, you can buy it, but the best part about the Arduino website is they have tutorials, they have the reference material, and the reference is very good. Like whenever I'm programming an Arduino program, they call it sketches, I typically have this page open just to remind me how to use all the commands. And it's really well written. It's written to where anybody can understand it. You don't have to be an engineer. They also have forums. There's other great places you can go to get information. Like one of them I go to a lot is Adafruit. And Adafruit, they sell stuff. They have the Adafruit Learn, which is just awesome. They show you how to do all kind of stuff with their products. But, you know, of course, you can also use your own. You know, there's unlimited sources for information out there on YouTube and on the web in general. So that's what Arduino is. It's the community combined with the software, combined with the hardware to build what you want to build. That's what we have here. Okay, so let's take a look at a few Arduino. Okay, so let's take a look at a few Arduino projects that others have made. This is what's really cool, is the stuff you can do. It's important to remember that most of these are not engineers, and a lot of these people are kids. So this stuff is accessible to everyone. Let's get started with this Rubik's Cube solver. And you could tell, like, this is an Arduino here, actually controlling the Rubik's Cube solver. It's connected to a laptop here. Right now, it's just reading all the sides using this little camera. And then later on in the video, he shows it in like real fast motion. Turns it and solves it. And you see this thing right here is a flipper and a turner. And then down here, there's a servo mounted on this little base to turn the cube. Really cool. And you could see it solves it. I don't think it's super fast, but I mean, that is really awesome. This is one of my first little projects. This is a object avoiding Arduino robot. You can see on the front, those are ultrasonic sensors. Here's your Arduino right here in the middle. And I just have it on a round robot chassis, and I put a bunch of obstacles in the way just to show how, as long as it has an obstacle, it'll just keep turning because it doesn't know where to go. And I think I'll move one here in a second, and then it'll know, hey, I'm out. So that was one of the first things I ever built. Excuse me. Here's another thing that I built. This was a clock that I made out of...
And that'll look great there for...
Let me turn the volume off. Out of a Lite brite. And I actually took all the guts out of the clock and I replaced it with a bunch of LEDs. As you can see, some of them are lit up, some of them aren't. There's an Arduino inside of here. And I never did anything like this before. I never multiplexed LEDs. You've only got a certain number of inputs and outputs. And I learned, actually I came up with my own multiplexing scheme and programmed it up real quick. It didn't take that long. This actually got picked up by Make Magazine for a feature article. They actually paid me $500 to write an article about building this clock. So that was pretty cool. Oh, these are neat. I've never actually done one of these. I want to. These are self-balancing little robots that people have built. If this guy's trying to push it down, the little robot automatically maintains its balance. Look, it's running from him. Pretty cool. But yeah, it has some kind of sensors, and look, this one's remote control, and it can maintain its balance. So even though these are low power microcontrollers, they're still very fast in the scheme of things. Because it takes very, very quick, fine adjustments for balancing. I want to try to do one of these really bad. Excuse me again, guys. So this is me again. I picked up some of these surplus, some of y'all might recognize them, some of these surplus Nokia phone screens. This is like from 1990s type Nokia phones. And there's actually a library available on Adafruit's website for programming these displays using an Arduino. So that's what I did here, and I'd never done it before. I made this video, and within a couple hours, guys, I was able to actually, let me go to the end here. I was able to actually get to a point where I didn't have a clue what I was doing, to making an actual animated graphic here, as you can see. Pretty much, what else can you do, right? I pretty much mastered, have animation going on, using the backlight and all that, and that just shows you how fast, with the information that's out there freely available, you can learn to do just about anything. I really like those displays, though. I think I still have them somewhere. This was a cool little project somebody made, guys. This is a YouTube live subscriber count this guy made with this display. It's a okay, yeah, he used it with this AT Tiny, and not exactly sure all the details. Y'all can go check it out. All these projects are linked down below, by the way, if you want to see more information. But I think at this point right here, he's showing like he's hitting subscribe and unsubscribe button on his phone. And it's actually, he can see it updating live on the counter back there. So pretty cool. I don't know if it's done via Wi-Fi or Ethernet or what. I didn't look at the actual project. This is one that a lot of you have probably seen is, you know, quadcopters or drones. A lot of them are controlled with Arduinos. And you can see here's an Arduino right in the middle that looks like probably an Arduino Nano mounted on that board that's controlling all the motors, keeping this thing in the air. Even though the guy's got a remote control, it still requires the power of the I was about to call it a microprocessor, microcontroller to keep everything balanced. That's the type of thing that a human being couldn't do or couldn't do well. is make all those small adjustments to keep flight level and stable. And let's see, he'll show it flying here later on in the video. There we go. That's a home-built quadcopter drone thing that this kid built. Pretty amazing. It's a big one too. Look how stable it is. I've tried flying the little cheap quadcopters before. They are hard to control. Okay, here's another thing. This is a 3D printer, homemade 3D printer built using an Arduino. I think they used a Mega for this. I think it says in the video somewhere. An Arduino Mega is just a little more complex version. The Arduino Uno has more inputs and outputs. Might run a little faster too. But you could see this guy is building this, I guess it's a vase. The Arduino Mega is over here somewhere. And that is a homebrew 3D printing. Oh, there it is, Arduino Mega. Okay, this is a persistence of vision display built, and there's an Arduino on the back of this thing. There's LEDs on the front of this little board, and you can see he can program what he wants to put on the screen on his computer, sends the data over here. This spins around, and the LEDs go off and on at just the right rate to where it looks like that. It can make a solid display with just one line, one strip of LEDs, due to our persistence of vision. That cube is really cool. Looks like a real hologram there. I like how he has it in this case. And you can't even really see the board when it's spinning fast. Very cool. Very cool. But it looks round, and it's not. It's not a round display at all. It's just a flat, rectangular little board there. What's next? Oh, next up, this is neat. This is a machine someone devised that can color sort. So it drops into here. I guess it's being, oh, it looks like the sensor must be here. And the guy's going to show all about how it's built. And it just sorts these Skittles, I think, out by color. It's pretty neat. It looks like a very well-built machine. Almost industrial. I know it's not. But look, it's got a continuous rotation servo, some sensors, an Arduino of some sort, and Arduino Uno. There it is. So pretty cool stuff. This is a radar. If you saw that robot a minute ago that I built, the object avoiding robot, same sensors right here, HCS304 sensors that this guy used to make a little homemade radar. And you can see whenever this sensor encounters this can, here it is. He has it displaying onto the computer in a graphic format as a radar image. Really neat. Looks just like a radar, I think. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Look, he introduces another can here. Then it'll pick it up. There it is. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. We're definitely going to be working with a lot of those HCS304 sensors on this channel. Here is something that's cool. This is a Nixie clock. And these are Nixie tubes. These are like Cold War era Soviet Union surplus tubes. They have millions of these things over in Russia. And they're sold on eBay all the time. They're a little pricey, but man, they are cool. There's a little neon or display. I guess it's neon. Might be some other type of gas for each number. Whichever one you want, you got to light it up. So I think there's probably about 10 leads or so in each one. These tubes are pretty cool though. Lots of projects built using those. This is just a little drawing robot. You see, you drop a pen in, and it has there's an Arduino on board. There's 2 motors, and just writes whatever you want it to write. Pretty neat. Now I think the pen has the capability to pick up pen and down pen. So some of you guys that are old school might remember the programming language Logo from way back in the day. There was a lot like this. It was pin up, pin down. You give it directions. It was kind of a kid's beginner programming language. So these guys are some of the things, just a few of the things you can do with Arduino. And I'll remind you, a lot of these guys were not engineers. A lot of them were kids. This is the kind of stuff we're going to be looking at how to do on this channel. So again, if you are not already subscribed, please subscribe below. If you're not already receiving notifications, receive them. Hit the little bell, and you'll get notifications every time I either go live, which I'm going to do live builds sometimes, or if I upload another video. Have a lot of stuff planned. Going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.